Since its inception, World Orphan Foundation has been on a crucial mission to provide aid to the country with the worst humanitarian crisis in the world today. This country has been challenged with war, poor food harvests, high levels of internal displacement, severe drought damage, multiple disease outbreaks along with the COVID-19 pandemic, and little to no medical, financial, or humanitarian aid. This country is a place where more than 95% of the population live in poverty, where 70% of all households face life-threatening starvation, where the number of children needing treatment for acute malnutrition is reaching 1.1 million, where 8 out of 10 people are drinking contaminated water. This country is Afghanistan. As of 2022, we are one of the last few remaining organizations currently active across the country, while most others have turned away. We refuse to give up on an entire nation. We refuse to abandon the millions of children left behind, destined to an unpredictable future, or worse, no future at all. We have not once turned our backs on these children in need. And although it has been difficult and unsafe to continue to provide aid where it's needed the most, we have not given up. The difficulty of providing aid in the most perilous areas of this vulnerable country has stopped many aid workers from continuing. But World Orphan Foundation staff on the ground have remained resilient. We all have one goal in mind: to help those in need. We will not give up. The children of Afghanistan need us now more than ever, but we need your help. In early 2020, when the world faced the biggest global crisis in generations, further increasing the devastation in an already devastated country, we were there. We were told that our timing couldn't have been better as more and more families with their children dipped below the poverty line. Over the year, we were able to supply 900 families of 5 to 10 people each with essential 1-month food packages, distribute over 3,000 blankets and firewood for the harsh winter ahead, and purchase enough land to build 12 homes for those displaced by the severe August floods. In 2021, when political conflict induced attacks across the country, further displacing another 700,000 civilians, of which 80% were women, we were there. With the onset of chaos as banks were frozen, the global community withdrawing all aid, and poverty drastically increasing, we had to act fast and count on our reliable team of volunteers within the country. We were able to provide over $67,500 worth of life-saving aid to hundreds of the most desperate families displaced from Kunduz, Takhar, Badakhshan, and Baghlan provinces between August and September that year. This included food packages, food vouchers, and relocation costs for those wanting to return to their homes once attacks on their homes had ceased. We were also able to install 26 much-needed wells across 3 different provinces in areas where hundreds of families and thousands of children had no access to their most basic human rights of clean water. In early 2022, when Afghanistan's extreme winter set in and the country experienced its annual snowfall, leaving up to 23 million people at risk of starvation with little to no protection from severe weather conditions, we were there. The hunger crisis was so massive that blanket distributions fell aside just to make sure more funding was dedicated towards food packages. We were able to fund over $11,000 worth of food packages within February alone, alleviating the extreme hunger of 200 families in Kabul and Logar. Over the last year, we were able to provide over 1 million meals in total, with a determination to reach those in the most desperate need. While this is a significant victory for us and was a massive relief for those reached, millions of children enduring this suffering are still going through this crisis alone. Most of the once active aid organizations and entities are now no longer active. Holding on to hope is becoming difficult. This woman explains how her husband is short-tempered and mentally ill. 2 of her sons have seizure disorders and her daughter has a heart condition. While we talk, she mentions that some of her children are out collecting plastic and that they burn the plastic to keep warm. These 2 women are showing one of our volunteers a small, windowless room that 2 families have to share. They themselves don't even live in a room like this. They can only manage to live in nearby tents. This area is home to internally displaced families in Kabul, the country's capital city. There is little protection from the harsh weather conditions and no access to clean drinking water. This man and his family have had to flee from their home in bulk due to the ongoing conflict. Their house was destroyed and they lost their eldest son, leaving them with no other choice but to run. He tells us that they live in constant fear both day and night and have struggled to find any help no matter where they go. Once in Kabul, the man has been searching for 4 days to find food before receiving help from one of our staff on the scene in the form of a food package that included rice. This mother is the sole provider for her family as her husband is unable to work due to his disability. She works hard, but her monthly salary is only enough to cover the rent and little else. She thanks our team for the help that she has received over the last 2 years, helping to keep her family fed. This is Nasima. She lives in a relative's basement with her children. She and her children struggle with health problems but cannot get medical treatment due to a lack of funds. They struggle without warm clothes or bedding while living in the basement, but she says that she uses her pillows to warm her children's feet when they get cold. She thanks us for the aid that she has been receiving for the past year and says that her prayers have been answered. She is a good example of somebody that has managed to remain hopeful, trusting that help is on the way throughout her struggles. This is the Lesser Ali Abdul Rahim Ghafoori School in the 8th district of Kabul. It is Friday, so there are no students. One of the teachers from the school show us around and explain that due to funding limitations, it is still not complete and still needs the roof to be finished. This is the prayer area, and as you can see, it is far from usable. However, thanks to the donations that we received, we were able to donate enough funding to complete the construction of the school, including the roof of the prayer area. This man states that he was worrying all his children would die of starvation before we were able to provide them with desperate food aid. Him and his family share their small home with another family and have to pay 2,000 Afghanis for rent, leaving nothing for food or other expenses for either family. He goes on to thank us and tell us that he is very grateful for the help. This mother opens up to us about her life in the Hayward Wall camp, where before we were able to install wells, there was no access to safe drinking water for a large population of people. She lives in this room with her son, with little shelter from the cold or comfortable place to sleep. This tent is the only protection from the cold air that they have. We were able to distribute blankets for all the families in this camp for internally displaced people, and this is the type of homes they have to live in. The kids here are trying to keep warm under a blanket with a warmer that no longer works. About 200 families live in these conditions in this area. This video is from the 20th night of Ramadan, which is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar and a time when people of the Muslim faith focus on prayer, fasting, community, and reflection. This year, our team in Afghanistan decided to provide iftar, the meal that breaks the fast at sunset, to poor communities for the last 10 days of this sacred time. Our staff wishes you peace during this time as they prepare the cooked meals and follow through with as many meal distributions as possible for Ramadan. While these stories offer vital insights into the individual lives and experiences of a handful of Afghan families, millions of others go untold, unheard, and unnoticed. The people of Afghanistan are suffering in silence. Right now, the majority of all men, women, and children are in desperate need of aid. However, we were there before, we are there right now, and we will be there tomorrow. We are active more than ever before and now officially registered. We will continue to show up and be there for the people and children of Afghanistan. Our plans include efforts to relieve hunger and poverty in a more sustainable manner. Along with our continued aid of urgent food distribution and the building of more wells, we are excited to supply food and jobs for the long term. We plan to rent farmland and grow much-needed food crops within the country, supplying enough food to self-sustain the land, offer a sustainable salary to one full-size family per acre, and potentially supply enough food to influence food prices in the country, making food more affordable and accessible for all. We have hopes to launch vocational schooling programs to nurture and support the development of skills that can open doors to earning a sustainable income for struggling individuals. This type of income can improve the livelihood of entire families at a time, offering a more long-term solution to poverty and creating the opportunity for a more fulfilling life. The need for jobs in Afghanistan is dire, with most families only having one sole provider that they could not survive without. On many occasions, families lose the support of their sole provider due to loss of income, severe illness, injury, or death. These programs can uplift other family members to help support their families or help sole providers earn well enough to supply their families with adequate food and shelter for the long term. We plan to continue to build wells for those who don't have access to water. Because of the severe drought, some villagers now have to travel long distances to other villages just for water. Some families have to leave their homes because of water shortages, and this is why we plan on building larger wells for those communities to prevent displacement. There are many exciting opportunities and ideas on the horizon for us at World Orphan Foundation. We have hope, we have determination, we are here to make a difference, and we are not giving up. But we can't do it alone. With your help, we can continue to reach thousands more families and children across Afghanistan. We can distribute millions more meals to those in the most desperate need at risk of starvation. We can build up enough support to embark on exciting new projects with the potential to change lives for years to come. And together we can achieve so much more. Become a part of the solution to the crisis in Afghanistan. We need you, so help us save lives and donate today. Thank you for watching this video. For more information, please visit our website or get in touch with a representative and find out how you can be a part of the solution today.